Hello, this is a little demonstration of how to use the template. So what I've done is I have downloaded the template and now I'm going to save it as my name. So I'm just going to go to File and Save As. And I will just save it as 290 template. Not template. I'll save it as 290 final paper S Russ. Okay, and now what I need to do is get the things I've already written and this final paper template onto the same screen. So what I'm going to do is, let's imagine that I have this open on the full screen. I'm going to go up to this corner, this little box in the upper right corner, and say that I want to share the screen. So I'm going to put the template on the right, and it's going to ask me what I want on the left. And in this case, I'm going to start at the beginning with my abstract. So I'll click on it over here on the left screen, and now I can work within both of these documents. So following the example, what I need to do, insert the title here. So I'm going to copy and highlight the title. And I don't want any of the formatting to change. And so when I do the paste, instead of just doing Control V or something like that, I'm going to right click and I'm going to click on this little A. And that just means keep the text, don't change the formatting. So there we go. I've just pasted it in and you can see now it changed the font and it kept the proper formatting. So now I can fill in my name and my college and the date. And I can make sure there's no extra spaces here. It says to insert a short title, a running head. So I'm going to just make a short version of my title. I'm going to call it Bird Feeders and Well-Being. And that'll be enough. And this is just called the running head, and I'll put this on the top of every page. So now I'm ready to go on. And I come to the first page and I see copy and paste my text here. It's all formatted. The first line isn't indented. And I see it's in a different font. So I'm going to copy my abstract using Control C. And then I'm going to highlight all of this text, right click, and use again this Keep Text Only. So it didn't work, and I'll show you what we do in this situation. Let's click the undo up in the upper left corner, and I'll show you why it didn't work. Whoops, let's click the undo here in this document. Okay, the reason it didn't work is because I copied every single thing, so it pushed it onto the next page. So in this situation, don't get that last period. So now let's try this again. I highlighted everything in the new document except that last period. Let's see if it works. Now I'm going to go back to Keep Text Only, and now it worked. So now I just need to get rid of that. This does not look centered anymore, and I think something might have happened. So I'm going to show you another thing here. This word abstract should be bold and centered, and to me, it's no longer centered. So first off, I'm going to make it bold. And secondly, I'm going to go to this paragraph settings. And when I click on it, I get some good options here, and I can see that right now it's indenting the first line, but I don't want it indented. I just want it centered. So here, I'm going to change this to none. No indent. And now that looks better. That looks more centered. All right, so moving on, I'm not going to copy and paste in. Here's another instance where it doesn't look centered to me. I think it's probably the same problem. So I can fix this one of two ways. The first way is I can go to paragraph, and I can, again, fix it through changing this first line. So that will work. And that looks better. It still doesn't look perfect. And so another thing I can do is if I have some text that seems to be properly formatted, like this seems to be properly formatted, I can use this little paintbrush here. And what that does is it copy the format. So now I'm going to click on that and it'll copy the format. And then you can see I get this paintbrush. And so I can just paintbrush over that, and then it applies the same format. So it doesn't look perfect to me, but apparently it is centered. So your title of your paper is going to go here. So we can go back and again, copy and paste this title. but we're going to get rid of those capital letters in there. So I'll show you how to do that. So right now I'm going to do this with care. I'm going to highlight everything except the last letter, just in case it jumps around like it did before. And I'm going to right click and click on that A again. So there's the title. And now it retained the formatting. And now I want to get rid of all the capitals except the very first letter. So I'm highlighting the text and I'm going to go to this right up here. See where it has the change case, big A, little a? I don't want to do that individually. I'll just change it all to lowercase that way. So now we look good. It's underlining this word, but this is not an error. So I'm going to reject that suggestion. And now continuing on, we need to just go into change this heading. So what I did is I double clicked up in the header. And now this is what's there. And this needs to just say, my running title needs to be up here. And I titled it Bird Feeders and Well-Being. And now I can double click down back in the body of the text and that will be up there. But I see a mistake. So let me fix that mistake, that lowercase g. And now we can click back down here. Okay, so moving on, you can copy and paste your introduction, your lit review. If you have any subheadings, you would put it right here, left flush and bold. It's all set for you. And now we go on and I can show you how we would paste the method. I don't need to do anything to that heading. That's just as it is. And I'm done with the abstract. So I'm going to eliminate that. And I guess I'll click save. And now I can copy in my method, my design. So again, I'm going to copy this paragraph, all of it. Actually, I'll copy everything except the last period. And I'll copy it. And now I can highlight everything here except the last period. And now I can use this A to do the paste. And that's a right click and then going right up to the A. So once again, I right clicked to get this menu. And now I'm clicking on the A. And now my text is in there. And it's just as it should be. Going down to participants, I can do the same thing. I've got some highlights in here. I haven't done my revising, but all of you will have done your revising by now. So I'm going to copy. I copied everything except the period. And now I'm going to paste right here. And continuing on, you can do that for the remainder of your work. And then one last thing I'm going to show you is the predicted results. So I'm going to close out the method that I had written and revised based on feedback. And I'm going to get out my little results section, which is right here. And I'm going to go up to this corner to get it up here in the left-hand part of the page. Now I have both of these up. So this is my revised edited results section. I don't need to make any changes to the title. I can just copy and highlight everything except the last period, click copy, and I can now highlight everything but the last period here and paste using that A button. Figure 1 doesn't need to be changed. And here's where I'm going to paste the title in. It should be italicized. So let me get my title. And let's see if we can get the title and the description. Maybe we can get both of them all in one fell swoop. So I'm going to highlight the title and highlight it all the way down to the end of this and try and see if this works using the A button. Okay, and it didn't paste the, it doesn't look right to me here. So a couple of things probably went wrong. So let's do that over. So, whoops, I'm always jumping into the wrong document here. There we go. So I'm going to just do the title separately from the graph. So now I'm copying the title and I'm going to just I'm not going to copy the last letter because then it'll mess up with the formatting again. So I'm just going to copy it here. I'm not going to get the last letter. I'll hit the A button to paste just the text. Now it preserved the formatting. And now I just need to change that H to an S. Now the graph is going to go right here. So I'm going to highlight all 3 of those lines when I'm ready. But first I'm going to select the graph, hit Control C, and then I'm going to hit paste. And it doesn't matter what paste you use here. I'll just use Control V, actually, Control V. And now this should be set. You can see the notes here. I don't have any notes for this, but if you did have notes, you would be typing them in here. And so I can delete that because I have no notes. I would then do the same for my second figure, and then I would be done with that. And you can see you would continue on in the same way. When you get to the reference section, it always should start on a separate page. And then you want to list all your sources in APA style. And you'll have to take a little more care with this because APA style requires, say, italics for the name of the journal and some really specific things. So you need to just be really careful with this yourself. And by the way, every reference, every citation that you have in your lit review or in your paper needs to be in the reference section. And so if you had a document, an article that you didn't read, you just read about it in another article, then you have to cite it differently. And it's up to you to look up how. That would be called a secondary reference. And so it's up to you to take the initiative if you have anything different to learn how to do it properly in APA style by searching that out and looking for how to do it. So thanks for tuning in. I hope this was helpful.